So Trump yesterday signed 4 executive orders as COVID relief talks in Congress has sort of came to a halt. And during his speaking, he made a comment saying that Biden is controlled by the Bernie Sanders left wing of the party. And this is what seems to be his new strategy. So go ahead and check out the clip.
Here are just a few of the policies in their extreme left bill. And again, this is a bill supported by Biden. And Biden is totally controlled now by the Bernie Sanders left wing of the party. And in fact, he's gone further left than Bernie Sanders ever dreamt of going. So obviously, other than Bernie have brought him left. If you look at the manifesto that they've agreed to, it's far further left than I've ever heard anything about Bernie Sanders. The massive taxpayer bailout of badly run blue states we talked about. That's one of the things they're looking to do. Measures designed to increase voter fraud. Banning voter ID. They want to ban voter ID. We should have voter ID in every state. Every state should have voter ID.
Yeah. So this now is Trump's new strategy. Trump's new strategy, although it's not super new, is to basically say that Biden is controlled by the far left, the socialist wing of the party. Joe Biden is a socialist. He's controlled by Bernie Sanders and AOC, which is really hilarious because progressives are sitting here laughing their ass off because we know how conservative Joe Biden is and how centrist Joe Biden is. And we also know how centrist, Joe Biden presents himself as. This is a guy who said that if M4A made it to his desk, he would refuse to sign it. This is a guy who is staunchly, kind of suddenly for some reason, because there are clips from the campaign trail in 2008 when he was running for president, as well as clips from 2016, where he seems to be pretty sympathetic and outright agreeing with a lot of Bernie's positions. But now he's, done this really hard turn, which really makes me really suspicious. But we know what he is marketing himself as and who he is, and so nobody is falling for this. And this is why Trump is flailing in the wind, is because this is a terrible strategy, a really, really bad strategy. And this is the opposite of what he did in 2016, He wasn't doing these Red Scare tactics back in 2016. He was going off about trade and he was going off about crooked Hillary. Those things land really well and they're super, super effective. But when you start doing this stuff, especially when you're talking about during COVID-19, a pandemic, where there's like 10 billionaires gaining obscene amounts of wealth while everybody else is getting evicted, doesn't have money to pay for rent, etc., etc. Like, it's insane when you think about that. He thinks that right now that is a good strategy during COVID-19. It's hilariously bad. And he even says in there that not only does he say that he's controlled by Bernie, but that he goes much farther than Bernie Sanders would have ever dreamed of. I mean, this is laughably insane. It's complete delusion, although I don't think he believes that. I think he's just doing that as a, marketer and a manipulator, obviously. And all the stuff he says there at the end about voting, he's just completely projecting. He's the one trying to steal the election, not people who are trying to get more mail-in ballots. And obviously voter ID is something that is very disadvantage. It gives a lot of disadvantage to poor people and minorities, and that's why they want to make voter ID a requirement, because it disenfranchises a lot of people who are poor, people who are minorities. They don't want minorities or poor people to vote. They don't want people to vote in general. But this is a hilarious strategy, and if this is all Trump has, I mean, he's screwed. This election's a wrap.